To 100% complete one of the most iconic indie games ever created, I'm going to have to grow tens of thousands of crops, manage and maintain a massive bustling farm, become best friends with every town person I meet, and rake in millions upon millions of gold, all in an effort to conquer this not so simple farming game. Welcome to my 100% completion of Stardew Valley. This is going to be a freaking movie. Our story starts off with us moving to our grandpa's farm, which we inherited in the Stardew Valley. With no time to waste, we get off the bus and are greeted by a local carpenter, Robin, and Mayor Lewis of Pelican Town. They introduce us to our grandpa's old cottage, and so begins our first day in Stardew Valley. Day 1. I first tinkered around the house a bit before heading outside. Oh my goodness. Dude, this place is so overgrown. Yeah, this is gonna need a lot of work. Where I read some notes and learned that I needed to till the ground to plant seeds. Fortunately, the mayor had left me some parsnip seeds that I promptly planted after tilling the soil. I then made my way to the local town, Pelicanville, and while I explored, I mingled with some of the local villagers. That evening, I even went to the Stardrop Saloon, the local bar. I was given 2 tasks. The first one was to meet 28 townsfolk, and the next was to harvest a parsnip. The parsnip would take 4 days of watering to harvest, so I figured while I waited for those to grow, I would try to meet as many townsfolk as I could. The next day, I received a letter from a gentleman named Willie, who apparently had something for us at the beach, and we needed to make it there before 5 p.m. So I watered the parsnips and headed that way. I went and met Willie, who happens to be a fisherman, and he gave me his old rod. Wink, wink. He also told me that any fish that I caught, he'd buy them from me. That day, I also made my way to the local general store Pierre's and bought some more seeds, this time potato and cauliflower. I also encountered some of the local women doing Pilates. Oh my gosh, they are doing Pilates. Very cool. On day 3, I woke up and it was raining, so I wasn't really sure of what to do, and I began chopping down some trees. I used the wood I got from these trees to make my first chest. Oh my gosh, man, I should have done this so much earlier. The inventory on this game is so small. I then spent the rest of the day clearing out a lot of the farm of shrubs and trees and all sorts of bad things that pop up, and then tried to meet some more villagers, but noticed that not many folks were outside because it was raining. I also tried to sneak into people's rooms. I don't really like to say sneak, but I tried to go into people's rooms, but I learned I would not be able to enter until I became good enough friends with that person. Upon going to sleep, I got my first level up in forestry proficiency, which gave me some boosts.
Level 1 foraging.
On day 4, I learned about energy and how it's used. Essentially, the more you do, the less energy you have, obviously. So as I watered crops and cleared trees, my energy got really low. I made an energy bar that day and ate it, and later that day it hit me that eating food does in fact increase your energy.
Yummy.
On day 5, I was able to harvest my first parsnips.
Yay, I can harvest my parsnips. Woohoo!
And therefore also completed my very first task.
I did it!
After this, I got a new task: to make either a barn or a chicken coop by purchasing it from Robin the carpenter. On the way into town to sell my parsnips, I ran into the mayor in front of the old dilapidated community center. He said he'd been thinking about selling it to Joja Corp and then encouraged us to come inside with him. Here, we saw little green apple-looking things that disappeared.
There it is again. It's a green apple.
And the mayor left, but told us he'd keep it unlocked for us.
Sure, why not?
I decided to investigate this community center a little bit further and found a scroll in a different language.
That is creepy as all get out.
But after not being able to find anything else, I went ahead and just left. I still knew I hadn't met every single villager, so I wanted to meet as many as I could. And I met this cool dude, Marlin.
Ooh, it's dark and spooky in here. Marlin.
And he was in a mine shaft. I found out that Marlin was in charge of a thing called the Adventurers Guild, and he gave me a sword.
Whoa!
In trying to meet as many villagers as I could that day, I got distracted and was not able to sell my parsnips. But then I realized I could just put them in the box by my house and ship them off and get paid for them overnight.
Yay, level 1 farming.
And between them and the other things I'd sold, I made over 1K, baby.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of dough.
On day 6, I was able to make a scarecrow to scare away crows from eating my crops.
Chickadee, check it out. Woohoo! Woo!
And also noticed I had a note in the mail from the local wizard who told me that he may be able to help us find out what's going on in the community center. Next, I headed into town and bought even more crops from Pierre, promptly planted them, and then headed to the wizard's tower.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Wizard.
So it turns out this wizard here has one of these little green apple guys captured.
Oh!
And they're actually called Junimos.
The apple guy.
He quickly teleports to the community center to decipher the scroll we found but weren't able to read. And it turns out these beings are friendly, and we can now decipher their scrolls. After this incredible discovery, I headed back into town and met the 2 remaining villagers I'd yet to meet.
Hello, nice to meet you too. Aha!
I also learned now that I can give gifts to people, and I'm assuming date them as well, considering the fact the game tells you who is single and who's not. The next day I learned what would happen if I expended my energy too much and got overexhausted.
Oh no, I feel sluggish from overexertion. Oh no, I didn't even mean to cast the line.
After accidentally casting my fishing line into the blacksmith's house. The day after that, day 8, I was able to harvest more crops.
Woohoo! Oh, they're my potatoes. Potatoes.
I was also able to do a quest for a townswoman named Emily, and she wanted a horseradish for a soup she was making. So I took it to her that evening. After leaving the saloon that night, I ran into the local homeless man, whose name is Linus, going dumpster diving. And he was trying to steal food out of the old gentleman George's trash can. The next day I visited Robin, and I learned that the coop would be $4,000 and the barn would be $6,000, so I was gonna need to save up for those.
Do I want coop or barn? I kind of think I want cattle.
Also, upon breaking rocks on the farm that day, I found a geode that apparently the blacksmith can open up for us to see what's inside.
You found a geode. The local blacksmith can break it open for you.
I was becoming more civilized, so I also began construction of the fence for my very first garden. On day 10, upon leaving the house, we're encountered by Marnie, who found a stray dog and asks if we want
A
it.
neighbor. Hello, Wumby.
The answer unequivocally always, if anyone asks you if you want a stray dog, is yes. So I took the dog in and named him Pickles.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna love you forever and ever and ever.
I also took that geode thing to the blacksmith, and upon him breaking it, we got something called a mudstone. We were then told to take this mudstone to Gunther in the museum, so that's exactly what we did. So we took the mudstone to Gunther and donated our very first artifact.
And we will put it here as a sign of my goodwill to you, Gunther.
We were going to have to donate a lot of these throughout the game, which you will see me do. In order to 100% complete the game, I'm going to need to donate all of the artifacts. So strap in. Today, I built up the courage to finally visit the mines, which I had yet to go to.
The mines of Moria. Here I come.
And we're going to be spending quite a lot of time at the mines. I'll get to the deeper mine explorations a bit later. I initially just wanted to try out and see what it was like, and it kind of scared me, so I left. And on the very next day, we headed back to the mines, and I was able to make it to level 5.
Yay, I made it!
So in the mines, essentially how you get to the lower levels is you break rocks and you'll find a hole with a ladder in it, and that's how you get to the next level of the mines. You just essentially climb down the stairs and get to the next level. I learned here that every 5 levels you travel in the mines, the elevator turns on and you're able to come back to that level whenever you want. So once you get to level 5, you can go back to level 5, but you got to start at level 5. Then once you get to level 10, you're able to go to level 10, but you can't go past level 10 until you get to 15, so on and so forth. In the mail the next day, I got a blueprint for a furnace from Clint, who is the blacksmith. His name is Clint. With this furnace, I'll be able to smelt the ore that I find in the mines, and in turn, upgrade my weapons. I also got another piece of mail from Marlin, who told me that if I slayed 10 slimes, I myself could enter the Adventurers Guild. I also got another letter from Mayor Lewis alerting me there was an Easter egg hunt tomorrow that I should not miss.
You missed the annual egg. No, I would not.
On my trip to town today, I ran into my boo, my favorite girl, the girl I got the biggest crush on. What's up, little mama? Haley.
Haley's ignoring me. What the heck?
And had the first of many encounters of her not being too happy that I'm trying to talk to her. Discouraged, I headed home, made my very first campfire,
Whoa, look at that.
and then headed to bed. So the next day I make my way to the festival, and all the villagers are very excited about finding these eggs. We then talk to Mayor Lewis to get the egg hunt started.
Where do we go look for eggs?
And unfortunately, to all these children, I lost. For whatever reason, our character is one of the only adults that participates in this egg hunt.
Oh.
On day 14, I was able to use the funds from crops that I had sold to purchase the bigger backpack, which gives me 12 more backpack slots.
Yes.
Which is insanely clutch because you run out of inventory so fast in this game. I then fulfilled the very first of the Junimo Community Center orders.
Yay, we completed a bundle.
And after doing that, 2 more of those scroll thingies popped up in the community center.
Oh.
I realize now that I would need to fulfill each one of these and something would happen. So for example, if I fulfilled all of the orders in one of the bundles, they would repair a bridge in town, for example. The rest of the day, I pretty much looked for Haley because I noticed on the calendar it was her birthday, and I finally found her.
Oh, well, I wanted to say happy birthday. He thinks I'm so weird. Gosh.
Going to bed that night, I leveled up again.
Yay, level 2 farming.
And can now craft a sprinkler. The next few days, I just focused on watering my plants every morning, trying to build furnaces so that I could smelt ore, and save as much money as I could for a chicken coop. I was also able to make it to level 10 in the mines.
Yes, look at this.
And found some leather boots and a chest.
Leather boots? Dang, I got even better boots.
I crafted my very first furnace.
Yeah.
But realized I will need coal to power it in order to smelt the ore that I get. So I also built a charcoal kiln, which will allow me to turn wood into charcoal. On day 17, I had yet to go fishing, so I decided it was probably time that I learned how to fish a bit.
Yes, I'm getting the hang of it. No, I lost him.
But I really had no idea what was going on and didn't spend a ton of time doing it. It was here that I began to realize what the daily schedule would be like for Stardew Valley. I would water my plants in the morning, do chores around the farm, and take care of everything I needed to in the village, and go to the mines as much as I could.
Going to 10, baby.
And I was starting to get a ton of minerals and resources in the mines, which was very encouraging. And on day 21, I was able to make it to level 20.
Yay.
Now, in the mines, you find a lot of the artifacts and minerals that you have to turn into Gunther. And upon turning some into Gunther, I got my first house decoration and my very first summer seeds, melons.
Oh, 2 rewards? Let's go. Standing geode? Melon seeds.
I was also introduced to this prize ticket thing where if you help someone with an errand, they'll give you a prize ticket, sometimes, not all the times, and you can take this to Mayor Lewis's house and put the ticket into a vending machine and get a special prize. These will range from food items to maybe necessary items that you might need to craft things. Generally, the prize tickets are very useful, especially in the early game. Now that I was starting to rake up some money, I still wanted to try to make my chicken coop, but I had also learned that I could upgrade my tools so that they'd be more effective, and I didn't really know which one I wanted to do. But I kind of just decided, I've been trying to save up for this chicken coop for a while, so I might as well just keep saving up for that. It would invite new elements into the game, so I wanted to try to do that. But come day 24, there was another festival.
Hey, the flower festival.
This festival was called the Flower Dance. I noticed at the festival there was a vendor selling all sorts of stuff, and I went ahead and purchased something called a rare crow because I don't know when I'll be able to buy it again. This is a good time to explain that in my journey to 100% completion, I'm going to have to craft every single item this game has to offer, so I'm trying to collect as much as I possibly can through the years. After buying the rare crow, I asked Haley to be my dance partner.
Yes, I have to ask her. Oh, she said, ooh, no. Oh my goodness.
And it turns out I don't have any game because every other chick also turned me down.
Oh, Penny doesn't want to dance with me either. You're kidding.
So we sat on the sidelines, watched everyone dance, and had our first unsuccessful flower festival. Going to sleep that night, we got our farming stat to level 4, and later that day got our very first trophy for selling 15,000 worth of goods.
Let's go! Greenhorn earned 15,000.
And now that our pockets were lined so heavily, I was able to start construction on my my very first chicken coop.
Yay!
I was notified, however, though, that construction would not start until the next day and would take a couple days for it to complete. I was also able to make my first iron ingots after I bought some at Clint's and craft my very first sprinkler.
Aha! We did it!
Which will auto water the plants. These are gonna come in clutch later in the game. On day 26, I got another trophy for catching 10 different fish.
Hey, fisherman! Catch 10 different fish. Let's get it.
And on day 27, I was able to make it to level 30 of the mines and get a lot more resources in the process.
All right, level 30.
Day 28 brings the last day of spring, and the coop is finally done.
Look at the coop, baby! The coop is done. I am moving up in the world.
So I went to Marnie's and bought my first chicken and accidentally named her Mr. Chicky.
Oh, it's a woman? Dang it, of course it's a hen.
So after a pretty successful first spring, we make it to our very first summer.
Day 1 of summer, we made it.
Where I begin the day by going to Pierre's, and the first thing I notice is the shop is filled with tons of different plants. Here's where I learned that plants are seasonal, and you can only plant certain seeds in that given season. So I bought some pepper seeds and planted them because they sprout every 5 days. I walked around the town a bit today and noticed all the differences. For instance, there's an ice cream shop now that one of the villagers, Alex, is running. After I hit the hay on summer night 1, a fairy visited the farm.
What is that? A little fairy?
And sprayed some pixie dust on my plants. When I woke up the next day, my melons were immediately grown.
They're already done. Oh my gosh. A magical gift from the fairy.
And after selling them, I bought a ton of radishes.
All right, let's go plant a bunch of radishes.
And planted them. The next couple days, I did the normal stuff while I waited for my crops to grow. And on day 4, I headed back to the mines. On day 5, I tested out my gift-giving skills with Haley and gave her a flower that she actually liked.
Oh, way, yay. It worked.
But she also said she wondered what Alex was doing today.
No, don't wonder that.
Which sent me into a crippling depression. I also came across a random lady in a trolley today, or she had some weird looking cart, and I bought a rare seed from her that I'd be able to plant in the fall. On day 6, I checked in with Mr. Chicky and noticed that he was getting kind of skinny. So I looked it up and learned that apparently you do indeed need to feed your animals. And you can feed them with hay purchased at Marnie's until you have a silo where you can store hay and feed them. Apparently, you can also let them roam around and they will eat the grass on your property, but I just bought some hay. The rest of the day, I just spent fishing because I wanted to try to earn some money from selling fish while my crops were growing. Going into day 7, I got to level 5 in farming and chose a buff that would allow me to increase the sale price of my crops by 10%. I also steadily kept giving Haley gifts and found a gift she loved, which was ice cream.
She did like it.
And I bought my next chicken and named her Mildred.
Woohoo!
On day 8, I harvested my radishes and was able to harvest my first egg from Mr. Chicky.
Oh my gosh. An egg.
Demetrius also set a fruit bat farm up in the cave at my ranch, which I guess would just spawn fruit from here on out. And here is where I'm starting to really get to know the villagers. I mean, up until now, I'd see a villager and have trouble like remembering who it was, but I'm starting to really put faces to names. I also began testing new crops. For instance, I planted blueberries and corn and was trying to just figure out what would work the best. On day 9, I was able to make it to level 40 of the mines.
Level 40. Oh, it's icy. Interesting.
Which was a big milestone.
A slingshot?
And I noticed that past level 40, I'm finally able to mine iron ore.
The iron? Oh, nice. Finally.
On day 10, I was notified that there is going to be a luau tomorrow.
Oh, there's a luau.
And I'm directed to bring something good to contribute because the governor will be there. So I decided that I wanted to bring something cool to the luau, and I thought, hey, what's going to be cool that I could bring to the luau?
You know what? I'll make a mayonnaise machine.
That'll be cool for the luau, right? So that's exactly what I did.
And we got a mayonnaise machine. Ladies and gents, they are gonna love it.
And on the next day, I headed to the luau.
Woohoo! Luau time.
Well, it turns out you put food in the soup. You don't give a gift like a mayonnaise machine. You bring an ingredient to put in the soup.
Great. I thought I was bringing a gift.
And the governor tried the soup and was not too impressed.
What the heck? Oh man, that might have been my fault.
The next couple days, I was kind of in my bag. I kept giving Haley gifts that she loved.
Oh my gosh, stop wondering about Alex.
I bought more chickens. I got to level 46 in the mines and got a ton of iron ore.
Gonna be able to make me so many sprinklers.
And then on day 14, I noticed something crazy happening.
A green rain has descended upon the valley.
I got a notification that there was a green rain, and I go outside to find that the rain is indeed green.
Whoa, what is this? What is all this?
And there are weeds all over my farm. So I cleared out my farm of the weeds and got a ton of moss, which I'd yet to get. So I headed into town and found most of the villagers holed up in the Stardrop Saloon. Because this was a crazy magical phenomenon, I headed to the wizard to try to figure out what was happening. And he said there was nothing to worry about, and this was actually very good for Stardew Valley. On day 15, everything looked normal again, and I was able to turn in another request to the summer foraging bundle in the community center. On day 16, I upgraded my first piece of equipment, the axe.
Upgrade my axe.
And was notified that it'll take a couple days for it to be done. On day 17, I was able to harvest my first tomatoes.
That's great.
And complete an errand for Penny.
Yes.
Which got me another ticket that I could turn into the mayor's vending machine. Once I turned it in, I got a peach sapling.
Yay. What is that? A peach sapling.
Which I could plant, and it was a tree. I would be able to get peaches now. On day 18, I picked up my upgraded copper axe.
Yay, my copper axe. Woo!
And began the upgrade on my pickaxe. I also brought Haley a shell, and she liked it.
She liked it. She liked it.
Things are looking up for you, boy. On day 19, I realized with my upgraded axe, I could break the big trunks that were in the ground on my farm and get hardwood from them, which was a very valuable resource. And I was able to get enough hardwood to fulfill another bundle in the community center.
Yippee! Another bundle.
On the night going into day 20, I got to level 5 foraging.
Ooh, another profession.
Which is wood cutting. And I chose the upgrade that gives me more wood per tree that I chop down.
I'll do the wood, whatever.
After my chores on day 20, I confronted Penny, who was helping George get some mail out of his mailbox because he wasn't able to reach it. And this is where I'll say I was caught between a rock and a hard place between whether I'd pursue Haley romantically or Penny romantically. I'd pretty much narrowed it down to these two. Penny is so sweet, and I feel for her, and so I'm starting to kind of like Penny a little bit, to be honest. After that, I grabbed my upgraded pickaxe.
Yay!
And then took part in the annual Trout Derby. There was a lot going on today. It was a very busy day on day 20. In competing in the Trout Derby, I was able to get my very first gold tag.
Hey! Got one.
And in exchange, got a tent kit, which lets me sleep outdoors for a one-time use. The night going into day 21, I got my fishing up to level 5, so I took the buff that makes fish 25% more valuable. And on day 21, every crop had sprouted, including the blueberries, so I harvested all of those before heading back to the mines. And that day, in the mines, I made it to level 50.
50, baby! Woohoo!
And in turn got some tundra boots. I was then able to finish the summer crops bundle at the community center.
The summer crops bundle, baby.
And got my first quality sprinkler. On day 23, I made my very first mayonnaise.
Now I've got mayonnaise.
So I still had this mayonnaise maker left over from the luau, but by putting an egg in the mayonnaise maker, you're able to make mayonnaise, which I realize sells for quite a bit more than just the egg.
Okay, you can sell mayonnaise for a lot.
Excited by this new revelation, I made another mayonnaise machine.
Double the mayonnaise, double the fun. That's what everyone says.
The next day it was raining, so I headed back to the mines. And here's where I realized that the deeper I went in the mines, the harder things were gonna get.
Is that a ghost?
You also face a variety of new enemies. For example, I ran into a ghost, and when he died, he dropped gold ore. I also was able to find a new weapon in here today, the lead club, which is much more powerful than the club that I was already using.
Whoa, a lead rod.
And I made it all the way to level 55.
Woohoo! 55, dude. Who would have thought we'd have gotten here?
On day 25, I tuned into the television, and I've yet to talk about the television, but the television has a lot of very valuable information. Notably, 2 shows that are very important. One of the shows that you'll find on the television is Living Off the Land. And this show gives you valuable advice and hints about how to make money and just how to have a successful overall farm in Stardew Valley. So the message I got on day 25 was that fall had the potential to be the most lucrative crop season for farmers.
Upgrade my watering can. Okay.
So I should invest in upgrading my water can ASAP. Another show that you end up watching on the TV quite a bit, and this is going to contribute to 100% completion, is a show called Queen of the Sauce. Queen of the Sauce teaches you different cooking recipes, and in order to get 100% completion, I've got to learn all of them. She comes on every Sunday and Wednesday, so I need to make sure that I'm tuning in to Queen of the Sauce every Sunday and Wednesday to get a new recipe. But for now, I would just stick with upgrading my water can because I wanted to be ready for fall. Because I was on a tear in the mines and it was another rainy day, I headed back, and today I was able to make it to level 60.
Woohoo! Level 60, baby.
And on day 27, I got my watering can back from Clint.
Woohoo! Nice.
And with this upgrade, my mind was completely blown because now I could water multiple spaces at the same time.
Whoa! Oh, that's so helpful.
Which was going to speed up the watering process and therefore make me a lot more money. Coming into day 28, we are at the last day of summer. And there's another event tonight at the beach to watch glowing jellyfish. I spent most of day 28 completely overhauling the farm and building more sprinklers to put down. I also decided that I was outgrowing my current farm and I really wanted to build another one. So I was gonna focus on doing that come fall. But that night I made my way to the jellyfish ceremony and thus sent off summer.
Look at the jellies. Wow.
We now enter day 1 of fall, where everything looks much different on the outside.
Whoa, everything looks way different. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And because it takes money to make money, I went and spent all of my $6,000 on seeds.
I just spent all my money on seeds. Oh my goodness gracious.
When I headed back to the farm, I began my makeover on a new plot of land to harvest my crops. I was able to plow, plant, and water everything by 1 a.m. But because of this new design, everything should be much more organized. On day 2 of fall, we head into town to see the development of the Special Orders Board. This will let us fulfill larger orders that specific villagers request. At Pierre's, I sold enough crop to get my next trophy, Cowpoke, for earning $50,000.
Oh, baby. And let's go. Yes, sir. 50K.
I also accepted a job from the Special Orders Board that has me going to the mines to get ectoplasm from ghosts. And the next day I headed to the mines and was able to get to level 70. And I got the Master Slingshot. The night going into day 4, I hit mining level 5.
Yay, level up.
And I took the buff that gives me 1 more ore per ore vein. The next couple days, I just did some more chores and tidied up around the farm while I waited for my crops to grow. And on day 6, they were finally done.
Yay, the eggplants are done.
I'm noticing with my upgraded farm that it's taking me a very long time to water these plants. So I wanted to start focusing on upgrading the water can again and trying to build as many sprinklers as I possibly could so I didn't have to do this crap every morning. I also got another trophy that day for catching 100 fish.
Hey, mother catch.
I spent the next couple days just waiting for my crops to get ready and just generally doing normal farm stuff. And on day 9, I got a letter in the mail notifying me of a giant fair that was going to be coming to town the next week and that I will have my own booth and be able to showcase 9 items that show off my skill and prowess as a farmer. So putting a pin in that for next week, I was able to complete yet another community center bundle.
Yippee!
And the night going into day 10, I was able to level up farming and foraging. On day 10, I got my next trophy for doing 10 help wanted quests.
Hey! Gopher.
My tentative plan for the next few days and for the rest of this season is to try to keep planting as many crops as I can, make a barn, buy a cow, and try to make a silo so I don't have to spend so much on hay. I'll be trying to work towards this goal for the next couple of days. Because my farm has gotten so big, it's taking me till about noon every single day to water all my plants. Fortunately, on day 12, though, I was able to have another positive interaction with Haley, where I opened a jar for her, and now she thinks we are Macho Man Randy Sandy Savage. Aha! On day 13, I was able to get another trophy for catching 24 different types of fish.
Old Mariner. Catch 24 different fish. Yeehaw!
On day 14, my pumpkins finally sprouted.
Hey, the pumpkins are done. Finally.
And with the profit I made from these, I bought even more seeds and planted even more. On day 15, the love triangle between Penny, Haley, and I deepened even further when I headed into Penny's trailer and helped her clean after her disgusting mother, Pam. Pam was so mad at us for cleaning the trailer that she came in and actually screamed at Penny. But after that, I was actually able to begin construction on my very first barn. And because a whole week had passed, it was now time for the Stardew Valley Fair. So I proudly displayed my 9 items that showcased my farming prowess and then played some games at the fair.
The slingshot game.
I did notice there was a booth here, and in that booth, there was a rare crow for sale.
Oh my gosh. I gotta get a rare crow.
And in order to get that rare crow, I would need to use the currency that you get from winning games at the fair, silver stars. So I played this shooting game in order to get enough stars, and I also played this fishing game. But something else caught my eye in this shop as well, and that's a fruit called a star drop, which looks like it increases my maximum health or something, but I know it does something special. So I spent the better chunk of the next 20 minutes playing this game over and over again, trying to collect as many silver stars as I could. And after getting enough stars, I bought the rare crow. And then for about 15 more minutes, I played this game to get to 2,000 stars, where I was able to buy my very first star drop. Upon eating a star drop, your maximum energy increases.
Holy moly.
So needless to say, it is insanely clutch.
What is happening? Your mind is filled with thoughts of spaghetti. Yes, I love spaghetti.
I knew I'd probably need to get all of these in order to collect everything in the game, so this was one of the many that I would need to get. But now that all the shenanigans were done at the shop, it was time to talk to Mayor Lewis to get the fair judging. And after critiquing all of the displays, we end up in second place, behind Pierre. This frickin' guy Pierre, man. So we had a somewhat successful first Stardew Valley Fair. The next couple days I just did my chores, and on day 18 I turned in my watering can in order to upgrade it. I also got another trophy for reaching a 5-star friend level with somebody who happened to be Penny.
Whoa, a new friend. Reach a 5-heart level with someone. Yes.
After I gave her a spaghetti. I then went looking for Haley in her house to give her a pizza, but Emily happened to be in there and she was having a crazy dream.
What the heck, dude? Oh my gosh.
And we find out that Emily, who happens to be Haley's sister, is crushing on me hard.
No way. The plot thickens.
On day 19, the barn was finally completed.
Hey, the barn is done.
So I began construction on my very first silo. I then bought 4 cows for my barn and named them Nancy, Gail, Betsy, and Shirley, respectively. I also got another trophy for crafting 15 items.
Whoa, DIY.
One of those items happened to be a crab pot, and I placed it for the first time. I then picked up my upgraded steel watering can, which would allow me to water even more spaces. And on day 21, the silo was complete.
Hey, the silo is done.
With the silo completed, now when we cut grass on the farm, it will automatically turn into hay, which will then be put into the silo. Even with the upgraded watering can, I found that I still took a very long time to water my plants in the morning. It was getting quite hectic. And on day 23, I headed back to the mines and encountered a new enemy, the skeleton dudes. Now these guys are a little bit harder, but their loot is significantly better. I also found my very first diamond.
A diamond!
And then made it to level 80.
Let's go, baby. Oh, that does not sound good. Firewalker boots?
Where I unlocked the Firewalker boots. I also snagged this sweet bone sword from the bone guys.
Level 5 sword.
The next few days I focused on smelting iron and doing other nominal chores, and on day 25 sold a massive harvest. With the funds that I got from that harvest, I went ahead and just spent the $10,000 on the upgraded backpack. So now I have 36 spaces.
Oh, let's go.
I also began realizing around here that I could just give villagers villagers the crops that I grew, and generally most people like them. So that was going to be good to build rapport for all the villagers. Also, I haven't said it now, but in order to get 100% completion, I'm going to need to be at a max friend level with every single villager, which will take a significant amount of time. But now, winter is coming.
Aw, a cake and a beer for my 2 motherly figures.
And on day 27, we had a festival, the Spirits Eve Festival.
We've made it to Spirits Eve. Here we are. Oh, it's like Halloween.
Which is essentially like Halloween. It is Halloween. That's exactly what it is. It's a Halloween festival. I checked the shop and tried to buy the rare crow that was there, but it was $5,000, and I did not have that kind of money right now.
Aw, better luck next year for me, I suppose.
So, better luck next year for me. I went through this scary maze, and after beating it, got a golden pumpkin as a reward.
A golden pumpkin.
The next day, I sold a fat load of crops.
Now that's what I'm talking about, baby.
And in going to bed on night 28, I snagged another trophy for reaching level 10 in a skill, which was farming.
Hey!
And I chose the ability to make my crops grow 10% faster. Winter is here.
Whoa.
So winter is a very interesting season in this game. There are no crops that you can grow in winter. Living off the land told me that it is a great time to go to the mines, pile up on resources, and upgrade my tools. Fortunately, my cows were maturing. They were turning into fine young ladies, and I was able to milk them for the very first time.
Oh, I can milk them. I can milk the cows now.
In the first few days of winter, I spent going to the mines, and I was able to make it all the way to level 95.
Oh, Diamond Baby. Yeah, baby. Woohoo!
On day 4, I realized that I needed to heat my barn and my coop.
So everyone's cold. I think that's why they're upset.
Because the animals were getting mighty cold. They were getting mighty frigid. So I bought heaters for the coop and the barn. So as we know, I have to craft every item, I have to ship every item, and I have to catch every fish for 100% completion. The thing about fish is that some fish are seasonal, and you can only catch them in a given season. This is the case for one of the fish, a squid, which I knew I needed to catch in the winter. And fortunately, I was able to catch one.
Yay! I got one.
And because I was on a fishing streak, on day 5, I actually bought a new fishing rod and learned how to put bait on it. I also got my axe another upgrade. And on day 6, I went back to the mines and made it all the way to level 100.
Woohoo! 100, baby! Yes, sir.
And upon reaching level 100, we got yet another star drop fruit.
Yay! One of these star fruit thingies. Oh!
On day 7, I received a letter that there was going to be a winter festival on day 8, and I wanted to make sure I had enough dough in case there happened to be a rare crow there. But fortunately, the traveling cart lady was here, and I was able to purchase a rare crow off of her. So on day 8, we had the very first Festival of Ice.
Woohoo! The Festival of Ice begins. Oh, this is lit.
Where there is a mighty ice fishing competition that I was going to be competing in. And you know how your boy works. I learn and I get better. And I'm not going to let losing that egg hunt get me down. I was going to destroy my competition. And that is exactly what I did. And I won my very first competition. Yes!
Yes!
Anyway, I got some very cool fishing gear and was generally very excited that I finally won something. So just about every day in winter began with me, waking up and feeding my animals because I had to hand feed them, put their hay in the trough so that they could eat, because I figured if I did not feed them, they would probably try to eventually kill me. Back in the mines on day 10, I found a sick helmet.
Oh, Squire's helmet? Yeah, baby. Oh, that's sick.
And made it all the way to level 110. On day 11, I learned something that I cannot believe I just learned now, but if you use your hoe on these worms in the ground, you get crazy good loot.
Dude, what the heck? I'm finding so much stuff. Why haven't I been doing this the whole time?
And it blew my mind that I just now learned this. And with foraging new materials and items from the winter, I was able to do a couple more community center bundles. Come day 12, we had the annual Squid Fest, where I was able to catch a total of 8 whole squids.
Okay, didn't I just need 8?
On day 13, I made it back to the mines and all the way to level 120.
Woohoo! We made it! We made it all the way to the bottom.
Where we get another trophy and a skull key.
Oh!
but I'm not sure what this skull key does quite yet. On day 15, another interesting event occurs where these people come to the beach in the evening, and it's called the night fair. And there's all sorts of different vendors offering different things, and I knew that I would likely need to get some stuff here that was annual, and as this was happening once a year, I needed to focus up and figure out what it was. And after doing some research on the internet, I learned that you can take a deep sea adventure where at the bottom of the ocean you can fish for 3 very special, unique fish. But unfortunately, the first night I forgot my fishing pole, so I'll go ahead and come back tomorrow. And that's exactly what I did, where on day 16, I was able to catch those 3 exotic fish. On day 17, I picked up my pickaxe that I'd turned in to be upgraded and had my first fantastic interaction with Haley.
You're so right, Haley.
Where I realized she was becoming much more understanding and very down to earth. This was making the decision between her and Penny extremely difficult. I was also able to turn in another community center bundle.
Yay!
Where I received a bee house as a reward.
A bee house?
On day 18, we get another letter that lets us know there's going to be another festival in town. This one on the 25th of winter, and it's called the Winter Star Festival. And we learned that we are assigned a villager that we have to get a gift for. It's essentially like a secret Santa thing. And I was assigned Willie, so I had to get Willie, the fisherman, a gift. But that was 7 days away, so I still had plenty of time. On day 19, for whatever reason, I was scoping around Marnie's bedroom and I found some purple shorts, which happened to be the mayor's.
Uh-oh, what are they doing in here, Marnie? Explain yourself, Marnie.
And I proudly paraded them around town and then finally delivered them to him. On day 20, I was finally able to open this little area that was to the right of the entrance of the mines.
Aha! Looky here, what is this?
Where I meet this little dwarf dude who doesn't speak any English. On day 21, upon walking around, we have another hot and heavy cutscene with Penny, where she's teaching the kids a lesson and has us join in. And she happens to ask us some pretty revealing questions.
Oh my God.
Perfect timing, because on day 22, we get a letter from Pierre saying that if we want to get romantically involved with someone, we'll need to give them a bouquet that he sells at his shop. Ever the opportunist Pierre is to try to make a quick buck. We then fulfilled a task for Gus by giving him 24 eggs so that he could create his giant omelet.
Woohoo! 3K, let's go, Gus.
On day 23, we get another trophy for reaching a 5-star friend level with 4 different people.
Hey, click.
On night 24, I realized a cracked method in order to raise friendship levels very quickly. And this is a Stardew Valley pro move right here. Here's what you do. You go to the Star Drop Saloon in the evening and you buy beer for everybody in the bar. And they will love you, especially Pam, who is a bona fide alcoholic. Day 25 came around and the Feast of the Winter Star is here. I gave Willie his squid and I really don't think that he liked it. And it turns out Elliot, the long-haired guy who lives by the beach, was my secret Santa, and he gave me a blackberry cobbler.
Blackberry cobbler?
So a very successful Feast of the Winter Star. I was very happy. It was great seeing all the villagers there, enjoying what Stardew Valley, portrays as Christmas. And now that I was familiar enough with the game, I was very excited to test out my new knowledge in a fresh year. So on day 26, I was able to make 19 quality sprinklers in preparation for spring.
19 quality sprinklers, baby.
And these quality sprinklers were much better than the normal sprinklers. These quality sprinklers are able to sprinkle water along the 8 tiles around them, which is clutch. On day 27, I began construction of my fence/gate for the farm come spring. And on day 28, put the final touches on the farm, preparing for year 2. And that night, I bought everyone a ceremonial beer at the Stardew Saloon to cap off winter. We have now arrived at year 2, spring day 1. And immediately upon walking out, the farm is touched with new growth and grass everywhere. So I get to work cleaning everything up. And upon heading into town the next day, we have arguably our biggest interaction in the game so far. We run into Haley by Marnie's cows, and she's been thinking about becoming a farmer because she likes me.
Oh my goodness, she's blushing, dude.
While this interaction was great, before I get into it romantically with anyone, I need to get the farm up and running and profitable. So later that day, I tilled up the land in preparation for my first crop. At the beginning of day 2, Haley leaves us a kind note saying she can see why we chose the farmer's life. After reeling from that massive victory, I began planting all of my crops around the newly placed sprinklers. On day 3, I spent all day tinkering with the crops and the sprinklers. I've said sprinklers more times in this video than I've ever said in my entire life. Day 4 was another rainy day, so I visited the mines in order to get more rocks, iron, and copper. And on day 5, I got my next trophy for donating 40 items to Gunther.
Woohoo! Oh, look. 40 items? Dang, it's already been 40.
So in order to build these quality sprinklers, I needed gold, iron, and quartz, which is why I kept going to the mines to try to get them. And towards the tail end of day 7, I built even more sprinklers and got a bunch more set up. On day 8, we were able to deliver all required gifts to the Boil Room Community Center bundle. And we saw a room get repaired for the first time.
What are y'all doing? Oh, the whole room is repaired.
We also see one of the Junimo guys put a star on the hearth to mark its completion.
Whoa! Ooh, looky there. Yay, we did it, Junimo. Whee!
Going to bed on day 8, we see that the Junimos repair the mine carts, which we'll now be able to use. And on day 9, we hit a hot streak with Haley again, where we have another great interaction with her. It seems she's lost her bracelet on the beach, and a knight in shining armor comes and finds it for her.
Oh. Oh. Oh, what's up, girl?
I also checked out what the mine carts did, and they are indeed very clutch.
All right, let's hop on this minecart and see what happens. Oh, I can instantly travel anywhere. Oh, that's clutch, dude.
Because now we can instantly travel to the mines or the bus stop. On day 10, I bought my very first house upgrade from Robin.
Yes, I am.
Which will take 3 days from tomorrow to finish, but it's gonna make my house significantly bigger. On day 11, we had another very awkward interaction with Emily.
Oh. Okay, girl. I see you. Whoa.
And on the night going into day 13, got our next trophy for upgrading the house.
Moving up. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We've got a bedroom now, ladies and gents.
Also, it's another year, and that means another egg festival. And I was not going to lose this time around. So I pulled out all the stops and actually decimated the competition.
Please be me, please be me, please be me. Yes!
And because I got first place, I nabbed this super dope straw hat.
Yes! Let's go, baby.
On day 14, I began experimenting with cooking.
Oh, I can make an omelet. I can make a fried egg and an omelet. Aha!
As you can tell, I have yet to cook anything, and I'm on year 2. So I made a fried egg and an omelet. I was also able to finish another community center bundle.
Yeah.
And once I sold my crops that day, I got another trophy for selling $250,000 worth of stuff.
Oh my gosh. 250K, baby.
On day 16, I visited Robin and paid to upgrade my chicken coop so I could get more chickens, which meant more eggs, which meant more mayonnaise. It's pretty simple, folks. And by day 17, my upgraded chicken coop was available.
Oh, baby.
So now I can have 8 total chickens and apparently ducks. Now, upon exploring on day 17, I discovered a totally new area of the woods by randomly destroying a heavy log.
Holy moly. I've never been over here before. What the heck?
And I've yet to be here yet, and this place is called the Secret Woods. And I'd received a letter earlier from someone here that wanted maple syrup, and I noticed a statue, so I think I'll bring him some.
Oh, this must be the guy who wants... These must be the Secret Woods, okay. Aha, he wants maple syrup. I've already gotten the letter. Okay.
So I went back to the farm, and when I came back, there was a bear, and he wanted the maple syrup.
Oh.
And upon giving it to him, the price of blackberries and salmon berries are now worth 3 times what they were worth originally.
Whoa! Let's go.
The next few days I spent farming, and on day 19 I bought 3 ducks and 1 more chicken. And on the evening of day 19 I went back to the bar like I usually do. So it did happen to be a Friday, and I noticed with my bar method, most people congregate at the bars on Fridays and Saturdays. There are the usual suspects who go to the bars, like Pam and Leah is at the bar every night just about, and Clint and Shane. But I went mostly on Fridays and Saturdays and bought everyone beer.
Dang, it's lit.
The next few days I worked on increasing my relationships with the villagers, and on day 23 I woke up to Leah at my doorstep. Now Leah is a villager I haven't really talked about before. She's pretty cool. She's pretty outdoorsy. She lives by the lake in Cindersnap Forest, and she's a pretty down-to-earth, artistic type girl. But she gave me a statue called How I Feel About Wumby.
Okay. All the ladies love me, man. Just like real life, huh?
And later that day, I ran into Leah again close to her house and helped her grab an apple out of the tree. So the plot thickens, boys and girls, because it turns out Leah likes me too. On day 24, I was able to collect my first duck eggs.
Oh, look at this. Duck eggs.
And now I can make duck mayonnaise, which is cool. But we also had our second flower dance to attend. And this time I mustered up the confidence to ask Haley to dance, and she said, of course.
Yay! Look how different things are after a year.
Let's go, boys and girls. On day 25 of spring, I walked into Marnie's because I wanted to buy some more cows because I had upgraded my barn, and I witnessed another one of the villagers, Shane, having an absolute mental breakdown. And after that, I bought 3 goats and a cow.
Let's buy some goat.
On my way to Pierre's to sell some stuff, on day 26, I had a cutscene where Abigail, the purple-haired girl, invited me to play Journey of the Prairie King with her.
Oh, goodness. Journey of the Prairie King.
Next couple days, I went to the mines and caught some more fish, and we made it to the first day of summer, year 2. Okay, we're making good progress, boys. And just like spring, the series continues.
First day of summer.
We have to get the farm ready by tilling it, clearing all the debris, and then buying as many plants as our pockets will allow. And then planting those puppies. Come on, baby. I spent the next couple days steadily working on clearing out the rest of the farm. There were a lot of areas that were just overgrown. They had so many trees in them, and I had so much farmland that I had yet to really, clear out as much as I would like to. So I wanted to make a designated area for my barns so that my cows could be there. And on day 6, I was able to do that and move my barn and fence it in. On day 8, I tried to catch an octopus, which was season specific, and I noticed that it was extremely difficult. So I decided I would need to get a better fishing rod, or at least some upgraded bait.
Oh my gosh, I need a better fishing rod. Holy moly, I can't do it.
But I actually went ahead and just bought an iridium rod and a cork bobber, which should make my fishing life much easier from here on out. Later that day, I got another trophy for reaching a 10 heart friendship level with someone, Marnie.
Let's go! Best friends. Reach a 10 heart friend level with somebody. Marnie! What a good neighbor. The best neighbor. The
next couple days, I just harvested crops and went to the mines. And on day 11, we had our second luau. And I was determined to floor the governor now and not bring him a mayonnaise maker. And having learned my lesson from year 1, this time I brought some quality cheese, which I've been able to make by churning the milk from cows with my whatever butter churner thing you call it, cheese churner. I don't know. I turn milk into cheese. But because we put such high quality cheese in the soup, we got another trophy for delighting the governor.
Ha! Look at that. I had no idea. The best soup I've ever had. Yay!
And the next day, day 12, I had my best day at Pierre's yet and sold $50,000 worth of crops.
Holy crap. 50K.
And with that money, began construction on my next chicken coop upgrade.
Time to upgrade these. Nice.
I also finished up the farm even more and added 13 more sprinklers. By day 14, my chicken coop is now deluxe, which means I can now have rabbits.
Oh, baby. Wait, now it's fully upgraded. Nice. Now it's a deluxe coop.
So I went and bought my very first rabbit, and now the rabbit will drop wool.
Okay, rabbits. Yeah.
They are quite pricey though at $8,000 a piece. Later that day, I got my next trophy for reaching a 5-star friend level with 10 different people.
Whoa, let's go. Reach a 5-heart friend level with 10 people. Nice.
That night, we encouraged Gus, the bartender, to get Pam to pay off her bar tab, because Pam is just generally a pretty bad person. On day 15, I did some errands and was able to catch my very first legendary fish.
Let's go. A legendary fish.
The crimson fish. And then on day 16, as I was on my fishing hot streak, I tried to catch the octopus again, but he was quite elusive, and I was not able to. On day 17, I kept fishing because I wanted to make sure I caught all of the summer fish that I needed to catch, and I was able to catch a dorado.
There we go. Let's go, Dorado.
On day 18, I caught a sturgeon, which was another fish I needed.
Aha!
And then we visited the town square to see Leah having a sculpture show, and she thanked me for inspiring her in front of the entire town.
Oh, all the other ladies are here too.
On day 19, I bought the deluxe barn upgrade, so when that was done, I'll be able to have sheep and pigs.
All right, here we go. Let's upgrade this thing.
I was also able to do 2 more community center bundles in the pantry of the community center. And on day 20, I set my sights on finally catching that pesky octopus, the freaking hardest fish to catch in the whole game. And after trying time and time again, I finally caught it.
Come on. Yes. Woohoo! Got him. Golly, he was tough. Jeez Louise.
I was also able to finish the community center bundle for the pantry.
Oh, I low-key could have done that already. I didn't even need the wool.
And we get a cutscene where we see the kitchen and pantry area being totally revitalized.
Look at that.
And get yet another star thrown up on the hearth.
Look at that. Another star, baby. We're moving on up.
And when we went to sleep that night, we see the Junimo guys working on something on the farm.
What the heck is that?
On day 21, we walk outside to find Gus, who gives us a jukebox and thanks us for being his friend.
Nice. Thanks, man. Let's go.
And then we find the building that the Junimos were working on was the greenhouse, which means now I'll be able to grow crops in the greenhouse in the winter.
Looky here.
And I'm really starting to hit my stride here. I sold a ton of red cabbages and was able to make a bunch of money. On day 23, we are visited yet again by the yearly green rain. And I spent most of the next day clearing out the brush from that fallout. On day 24, it was another rainy day, so I figured I'd go try to catch some fish that I needed to catch. But we run into Shane, who was passed out on a cliff. And this is probably the darkest part of this game. This gets dark. But fortunately, we did save Shane and take him to the hospital. And on day 25, he shows up at our door and said he was going to start going to therapy. Unfortunately, he doesn't stop drinking though, because we still buy him beers at the bar almost every single night. Later that day, I went to Marnie's and dropped a bag on 2 pigs and 2 sheep.
Purchase pigs and sheep.
Pigs will help me get truffles, which I can sell for quite a bit of dough. After selling my next crop on day 27, I was able to get all the way up to 73,000.
73K, man.
Which I spent on 2 auto collectors, which would auto harvest the resources from my coops and my barns.
All right, now let's make some looms. Now that I got 2 auto grabbers, you kidding me?
I also made 5 looms, so now I can turn wool into cloth and sell it for much more money. On day 28, I began construction on a fish pond.
I don't know what this does, but you know.
But because it was the final night of summer, it was time for the second dance of the midnight jellies. And we send off summer with a bang. We are now in our second fall, and it's day 1. And we walk outside and are greeted by Jody.
Hey, Jody.
Who invites us to dinner with her family tonight.
Sure.
So Jody wanted us to bring a fish to dinner tonight. Fortunately, I had saved that fish, but because it was the first day of fall, I had to get the farm ready and planted all my crops. That night, I arrived at Jody's a bit late, but I did bring the fish.
Of course I brought the fish. Jody? What a lovely dinner.
On day 2, I completed the community center bundle in the crafts room.
Let's go!
And the reward is bridge repair. I don't know what that means. But on the night going into day 3, the Junimos repaired the bridge, which is next to the mines.
Oh my gosh, look at all that ore. Holy moly.
And upon further investigation, there is so much ore over here, it's absolutely crazy.
Oh my gosh.
There's also this secret path which has an entrance to a different mine.
What is this? Whoa. 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 Oh, we should get out of here. We should get out of here. Holy moly.
And this one seemed way harder and scared me way too much, so I decided to leave. We then had an interaction with Abigail when we left and played some musical instruments under a tree.
Okay, Abigail, low key. Low key. Hear me out here. Kind of hot.
That evening, I began constructing a cobblestone path for my farm to spruce it up because it was looking mighty ugly and I wanted to give it some character. On day 5, I was able to complete 2 more community center bundles.
Let's go.
And on day 6, I decided to head back to those scary mines that were over the bridge. And upon entering and adventuring, I received a golden scythe.
A golden scythe?
Which was freaking dope. But unfortunately, I came closer than I ever have been to dying at this point. I also learned that I needed to upgrade my pickaxe in order to break these larger rocks, so I decided to leave. The next day, I began the upgrade for my pickaxe.
Give me that gold pickaxe.
And spent the rest of the day fishing and was able to catch another legendary fish, the angler.
Nice. Got him.
On day 8, I noticed my pigs had sniffed up their very first truffles.
And when do the pigs find truffles? Oh, there they are.
On day 10, I got my golden pickaxe and headed back to that scary mine. But with these mines, it doesn't seem like you can go down any other levels. It just seems like it's one big loop. So I figured the only thing I could get out of here I already got, which was the golden scythe. On day 12, I began construction of my second barn, which this was kind of shocking me at this point. I was really starting to grow. Then on day 13, I was able to knock out 2 more bundles for the fish tank in the community center because I'd spent so much time fishing. On day 14, I was sick and tired of never catching any freaking crabs. So I kind of overkill and I bought 30 crab pots from Willie.
I literally just said no more Mr. Nice Guy. Gimme the freaking crab.
And I loaded those suckers up with bait. And on day 15, I was finally able to harvest some things from the crab pots.
Oh my gosh, I finally caught a crab.
So much so that I was able to finish the crab bundle at the fish tank in the community center.
Ta-da! Let's go, baby.
The next day was the Stardew Valley Fair Year 2, and I was destined to decimate Pierre this year. And fortunately, I had learned my lesson from the first year, and I made my little garage display, I think is what they called it, so nice that I smoked
Let's
it.
go! Let's go! Yes, baby!
And I got my next trophy for getting first place. On day 17, I was able to finish yet another community center bundle. And then waking up into day 18, something very weird happened. While going to bed, a strange sound was heard in the night. And when I woke up the next day, a strange capsule was in front of my yard.
What the heck is this thing, dude? What the What? Strange capsule? Okay, I guess we'll leave it there. What?
And it looks like some sort of alien incubator. To this day, I do not know what this thing is. Still don't. I spent the rest of the day fishing because I needed 2 fish that could only be caught in the rain, and I was able to fill out 2 more community center bundles.
Nice.
On day 19, I bought more pigs, sheeps, and goats, and was able to begin my next upgrade on the barn.
Actually, I'm going to upgrade the barn.
I also took the leap and went ahead and bought the bouquet from Pierre's.
I have done it. I am taking the next step into taking my relationship seriously with somebody.
Now, I still wasn't 100% sure who I was going to romance at this point, but I figured, you know what? It's time to start taking my life a little bit more seriously. The next day, I absolutely did, and I gave Haley the bouquet. This simulates butterflies in my stomach because she said she was waiting for me to ask her, and she is now my girlfriend. Oh my God.
Oh, I feel so bad about not marrying Penny.
Waking up on day 21, I noticed the alien thing is no longer in the pod.
The thing broke out.
And the tube is broken, and I'm terrified. And when I visit Haley in town, she tells me I look handsome today.
Oh, what is up? Haley said I look handsome today. You know I look cute.
I also get my next trophy for crafting 30 different items.
Oh, let's go. Artisan.
And it happened to be the truffle oil maker, so now I can put my pig's truffles into this and get even more money for them. On day 22, I fixed up this tree that wanted 100 hardwood in order to turn into something, so I gave it to it. Then on day 24, I was able to repair the entire vault portion of the community center by donating all the money I needed to. And the reward for this was going to be a bus repair, so we'll see what that is. I also turned in even more resources to Gunther and got a book that taught me Dwarvish, so now I could communicate with the dwarf, and I got yet another rare crow.
Oh, teaching me Dwarvish and a rare crow? Let's go, dude.
That night, the Jojimos repaired the bus.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
So the next day, we check out the bus, and it takes us to this place called the Calico Desert.
Calico Desert.
And I do my usual thing and explore. I was able to find a shop with a bunch of different seeds in it, and upon doing some more adventuring in this area, I found another mine.
Ah, this must be that dungeon.
So apparently this is what this quest was telling me. I have to get to level 100 of these mines. And these mines, different story.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. We're not going to explore it now.
But we'll get there. I bought some cactus plants that I planted in the greenhouse. So at this point, everything is definitely speeding up. I'm making a lot of progress. I'm doing well. I'm making a lot more money. But I'm feeling like I can't keep up with so much stuff because it's not super organized. So I wanted to focus on starting to do that. Upon sleeping into day 26, I got 2 trophies. One for earning $1 million total.
Let's go! Millionaire!
And one for sending 300 of one crop out.
2 trophies! Nice!
On day 26, I made a designated area for my resource harvesting stuff and then spent the rest of the day on the farm just piddling around. It is now day 27 of fall, which means it's time for the yearly Spirits Eve festival. And this time I came in loaded to the nines with my fat bags. I had so much cash. So I went ahead and bought the rare crow that I was missing.
Yeah.
Now, this maze was significantly harder than the first one for whatever reason, but I was finally able to get through it and got another golden pumpkin.
Holy moly. That took a fat minute.
On day 28, I ran into Shane at Marnie's.
I've been giving you beer at the bar, dude.
And he's really turned his life around, and he's been raising some chickens. And we're proud of Shane for doing this. Go Shane. But because winter was coming, I wanted to load up my pens, my coops, my barns, with even more livestock. So that's what I did, and I bought more cows, pigs, sheep, and goats. And come winter year 2, I was honestly ready for it. If I'm being honest, I had worked so hard the last 3 seasons that I was like ready for a break. I was ready to not farm, which was kind of crazy. But because it's winter, of course, we got to go check on the boo. So we head to Haley's house to say what's up. And we have the best exchange I've had in this game thus far.
Oh. Oh, let's go. Oh my goodness.
On day 3, we were able to finish every single bundle at the community center.
We did it, everybody.
And the Junimos left.
Farewell, little guys. I hope they all don't leave.
On the night going into day 4, the Junimos removed the rock that was next to the mines.
Oh yeah, they're gonna repair everything.
And the next day when we checked it out, we were met by Willie, who taught us that we could now pan for precious ore.
Let's go.
And he gave us a pan. We headed into the mines and bought another rare crow from the dwarf.
He sells a rare crow. Nice.
And that day when we headed into town, everyone was visiting the newly refurbished community center.
Oh, look at everybody.
Proudly, Mayor Lewis gave me the Stardew Hero Trophy.
Let's go. The Stardew Hero. Yes.
And then I got the actual trophy, Local Legend. Then the guy from the local Joja Mart, who I really haven't talked about because he's totally irrelevant, Morris, walks into the community center and gets into a spat with our boy Pierre. Actually, Pierre's not our boy, but they get into a fight, and we convince Pierre to knock his booty out.
Oh my gosh.
And just like that, the community center is finished. We go to check on the Joja Mart that's in town, and it happens to be closed down.
Confirmed closed.
And for whatever reason, now that I'd finished the community center, I decided to just start focusing on some things that I'd yet to do yet, like really cooking. I was able to cook 10 recipes and got another trophy for it.
Let's go. Cook 10 different recipes.
Waking up on day 5 to a ton of letters, mostly recipes, but one of them was actually from Willie, who has opened up the back room of the fishing shop. We walk into the shop and are taken to the back where we do see an old, dilapidated ship.
It's a straight up ship.
And Willie says if we repair it, he'll be able to take us to a volcanic island with new resources. But I really didn't feel like I was ready for that right now, considering I'd barely explored the desert area, and that was like another area that I had opened up, but I really haven't explored it, so we'll get to all this later. And because I hadn't explored the desert area yet, I had the chutzpah to head into the desert on day 6 of winter and go into the mines. And this time, I legit have never been so close to dying.
Holy mackerel.
I made it all the way to level 6, but I did learn I was going to have to be a lot more careful in these mines than the typical Bush League mines that are in Stardew Valley. I was, however, able to get a ton of good resources. On day 8, we had our second ice festival.
Hey, everybody.
And we won the fishing competition yet again.
Come on,
Single
baby.
bundle at the community center.
Yeah.
Proving and asserting our dominance as a superior villager to this valley.
They call me the 2-time, baby.
I spent the next couple days piddling around, and on day 12, I was able to catch the elusive legendary glacier fish.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Later that day, I got another trophy for reaching a 5-star friend level with 20 people.
Hey, popular. Reach a 5-heart friend level with 20 people. That is awesome.
By using my patented beer method at the bar.
Everybody loves me. What can I say?
On the night going into day 13, I got my foraging level up to 10.
Let's go.
And because I was so confident, the next day I went back to those mines and spent all day there. And I ended up getting a ton of stuff because this time I used a bunch of bombs to blow everything up.
Boom.
Which proves to be an amazing method. On day 14, I get my next trophy for cooking 25 different recipes.
Ooh, look at that. Sous chef cooked 25 different recipes, baby.
On day 15, we walk outside and are met by Gunther, who thanks us for donating so much to the museum. He gives us a rusty key.
Whoa.
And I think I have an idea of what this opens. Now, there is a sewer in Pelican Town that I've yet to be able to open because it's been locked. And I figure, hey, this is probably the key that opens up this sewer.
Yes, it unlocked.
And turns out I was right.
What the heck?
And in the sewer, I meet this interesting looking thing named Krobus. And he happens to have a shop.
Hey, a star drop.
And I was able to purchase another star drop from him for 20K.
Oh, I'm thinking about spaghetti again. Oh, spaghetti!
Now that yearly night market is back in town again, and I had a secret note that revealed a pattern.
1, 5, 4, 2, 3. Okay, ready? 1, 5, 4, 2, 3. A pearl. Yay!
On day 17, I make arguably the biggest decision that was the stupidest to leave off for so long, and I built my first stable.
Let's go.
Which will allow me to now ride a horse after it's built. But because I was waiting for the stable to be built, on day 18 I headed back to the skeleton mines, where I was able to make it all the way to level 58 using the bomb method.
That guy right there, don't like him. Teleporting. Get me out of here. 58.
The reason you can get so deep so quick, that's what she said, is because a lot of times when you blow up some of these stones, there will be holes. Instead of the stairs that you can jump through, there's actually like holes, and they're called mine shafts. And if you jump down them, it will drop you like not just 1 level, you can go 5 levels, you can go 9 levels, sometimes you can go 15 levels. So it just drops you all the way down. But I got a ton of resources doing this. On day 19, I got my trusty new steed.
My pony! Oh my gosh, this is a game changer. This is an absolute game changer.
And he makes me go so much faster.
Faster. Oh my goodness gracious, I have needed you, Pony.
I spent the next couple days cooking up recipes that I had yet to cook and gave plenty of gifts to people at the bar in the form of beer. I also tidied up the farm quite a bit and built hardwood fences to just, provide some more robustness to my farm, if that's a word. But I was preparing for an absolutely massive spring. So much so that on day 24, I began an upgrade to get a golden hoe.
Boom. Thank goodness.
On day 25, we have the big Feast of the Winter Star again. And Maru happens to be the secret Santa that I will be giving a gift to. And now, because I am such good friends with people, I know what they like generally, and I know what they dislike. And Maru happens to like minerals and artifact stuff. She's very scientific. So I got her a diamond. I then spent the next couple days going to the mines and just generally prepping for spring. And on day 28, I got my gold hoe.
Yay!
Now, it's important that I focus year 3 on a trophy that I don't want to miss, and that's I have to ship 15 of every single crop. So we head to bed on day 28 of winter and head into year 3, spring 1, and we're visited by Grandpa.
My grandpa. Grandpa.
And he tells us that he is very proud of us.
Oh my gosh.
And when we walk outside the next day, something pops up in the back left corner of the farm with glowing blue lights.
What the heck?
Now, time to take stock of where we're at. It's year 3. I've put a good chunk of time into this game, and I'm sitting at 1.2 million earned. And I will need to get 10 million for a trophy, but I'll also need to spend 10 million on something that you'll see later. So I spent the entire first day preparing my farm for a massive spring. It took me all day to clear the field, buy the seeds, and plow the field. So much so that I didn't even have time to plant the seeds. So on day 2, I planted my first spring crop. On day 3, I began construction on my second deluxe barn because I was trying to load my thing up with so many pigs and cows that I was going to be drowning in resources. For some reason, I had yet to visit the thing that Grandpa had left us, the glowing blue thing, so I went and visited that, and it was like some sort of altar type thingy, and it had a message.
Wait for my return on the dawn of your 3rd year.
From Grandpa that read, wait for me to return on the dawn of your 3rd year.
Whoa.
On the night going into day 4, lightning struck the abandoned JoJo Mart and opened the door.
Oh.
So I learned that if you head to the East Beach, you can actually buy a pendant from some creepy dude, and you will be able to give this to your girlfriend and get married.
Now I can get married. Woo-hoo-hoo. The mermaid's pendant.
And after this, I didn't have much going on this day, so I headed up north to the area where the train is and got a cutscene of the wizard who opened up a new passageway and let me know that his ex-wife, who was a witch, was living on the other side, and she took his magic ink and he asked if I could retrieve it. But first I'd have to talk to Krobus about getting some sort of talisman thingy that he knew of.
You got it, King. Uh-oh. There she is, I think.
So I spent the next couple days tending to the farm and doing my general shenanigans, and on day 8, went and asked Krobus about the talisman.
Let's go ask Krobus.
He told us he left it in a tunnel that's actually in the sewers, but we would need to go get it.
Woo.
So we went into this little area.
What the heck is going on here?
And picked up the talisman.
Aha!
And we were able to put that talisman in the pathway by the railroad. And walking through that door, we are teleported to the witch's hut. And the witch's hut is guarded by this goblin. And he says he just cannot let us pass. So we're gonna have to figure that one out. So after consulting some very smart people online, it turns out the goblin likes void mayonnaise. So I can make him some from a void egg that I can buy from Krobus. I went ahead and bought the void egg from Krobus and made it into void mayonnaise.
Yay, it is done. Woohoo.
And then I gave it to the goblin and was able to get into the witch's hut where I got the magic ink.
Aha. We got the magic ink.
And shortly after returned it to the wizard.
Yes, I have found your ring.
And this unlocks the ability to make magic buildings on my farm. Turns out I can build a Junimo hut.
Whoa!
And they will assist in harvesting crops. And I can build different teleporters that will teleport me to each different location on Stardew Valley and elsewhere.
Okay, this is big. That's huge.
like the desert and that volcanic island that I've yet to go to. On day 13, we have the Egg Festival, and this is where I was tuned into something that I had done in the past, but I really needed to focus on because apparently the strawberries that you can buy from the vendor here are the best spring crop in the game because they grow and they're good and they give you a lot of money, but they also keep regrowing. You don't have to replant them. They keep giving you strawberries every couple days. So I bought 400 strawberry seeds.
Boom.
With the idea to cover the entire farm with them. And then, of course, I won the egg event yet again.
Let's go.
And on day 14, I planted a ton of strawberries.
They're going to call this the Great Strawberry Invasion.
On day 15, I got notice that there was a festival in the Calico Desert.
Ooh.
So I went and checked that out, and it was a pretty cool thing. I mean, they give you these eggs, which are kind of currencies, and you can compete and do all these different, like, activities, mainly going to the mines, and that's what I did. And I was able to get all the way to level 37. And these mine runs, when you go into these mines, you get so many more resources than you do in the original mines. I know I've probably said that already, but it's crazy how many more resources you get. So the night going into day 17, I got to level 10 mining.
Let's go.
And went back to the mines and had an even better day. The next couple days, I just took care of what I needed to around the farm and waited for my crops to grow. And then on day 21, something massive happened.
All right, here we go.
I finally decided, you know what, Wumby? It's time to be a man. And that's exactly what I did.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is for all the marbles. Here we go.
And I asked Haley to marry me.
Yay!
And of course she said yes, because why wouldn't you say yes to this amazing villager who's done so much for the community in such a short amount of time? 3 years. A lot can happen in 3 years. So the wedding will be in 3 days. So fast forward to day 24, and it is the Flower Festival, yet again, our third Flower Festival, where we dance with our beautiful flower queen, Haley, right before she becomes our wife.
Your beautiful flower queen, Haley.
And on day 25, we get married.
Wedding day!
And it's the happiest day of my life. Oh my God.
Hooray! All the ladies are so upset.
Now, life changes when you get married, because now I got a woman on the farm with me, and I can smooch her whenever I want.
Atta girl. Oh, I can just smooch her whenever?
And our first night together, you could say, was absolutely magical. It's now day 26, and I learned that the vendor in the Calico Desert, whose name is Sandy, sells starfruit seeds, and these are like the best crop in the whole game. So I went and dropped $130,000 on starfruit seeds in preparation for summer, because they only grow in the summer.
Wow. That is going to get me a lot of money.
I was still enjoying my giddy new life with Haley and all the fun comments she made. Like the evening of day 26, she said she was ready to have some fun with me.
No, I'm ready to have some fun too.
Every night, day 27, I'm making out with Haley. In the morning, she's making me breakfast.
Gonna make me some breakfast? Yes, she did! Oh my gosh. She did.
And now we have arrived at our third summer.
Day 1 of summer.
So it took me almost a whole day to plant 250 star seeds.
Oh my gosh.
And the rest of the day to plant my other seeds. I'm thinking that after my starfruit harvest, I'll be able to afford so many bombs and staircases that I can get to level 100 of the mines, because this was still an ever-present goal in my mind, something I needed to do. But I've also got really bad ADD, so the next couple days I didn't really focus on that, and I started repairing the boat that was in the back of Willie's, and I was able to, by day 6, get that thing repaired.
The boat is seaworthy. 1000G. See what we do.
So naturally, we hopped on the boat and got another trophy for reaching Ginger Island.
A distant shore. Reach Ginger Island. Ginger Island. That's fitting, because I'm a ginger.
Now, I really had no idea what was going on here. And like the first couple times I went to the desert, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot going on. And I met this weird little boy who talked like a parrot, and he was too scared to talk to me. Then upon further exploration, I found myself in a volcano, and I got attacked by some creatures.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. I did not bring my sword. Huh.
And truthfully, I just don't feel like I'm ready for this right now, and I've got too much to do on the mainland, so I'm going to come back here later. Now, I had collected this thing called a prismatic shard, which is this rainbow-colored rock, and I didn't know what to do with it. I'd collected it a long time ago, and so I looked up what to do with it, and it turns out that if you take it to the middle of the desert, you can get a really sweet sword for doing that.
And apparently, if you bring this right here and do this...
Oh! So I go ahead and do that, and I get the Galaxy Sword.
The Galaxy Sword. Just make sure to change the shape before your very eyes. This power is tremendous. You found the Galaxy Sword. Gotta be strong, right?
On day 8, I give Haley a diamond, which she loves.
Whoa!
And she gave me my next star drop. And I learned that when you get to a certain level with your spouse of hearts, they automatically give you a star drop as a symbol of their love.
How did I find that star drop?
So me and Haley are just falling deeper and deeper in love every day. It's fantastic. I spent the next few days just chilling and waiting for my star fruits to grow. And we make it to the 3rd luau of our Stardew Valley career.
Yay, luau! The governor's here again.
And then by day 12, my star fruits were ready for harvest. And these things blow your mind. When you start playing these things, it's like gangbusters because I made 200K from this haul. So obviously I bought way more. I spent the next week waiting for my next starfruit harvest to be ready. And on day 20, I began construction on a slime hutch. So a slime hutch lets you raise slimes in it.
I want to build this thing.
And my idea behind this was, hey, you need a lot of slimes to make the truffle machines. And because I've got a lot of truffles, I want to make more truffle oil makers. That's what they're called. And you need slimes to do that. So I figured I'd have more slimes by doing this. And when it was complete on day 22, Marlin, the adventure guy, showed up and gave me a slime egg to put in the slime hutch.
What the heck is that?
So I kind of figured out how to do all that. On day 23, we had our next green rain day. I also began construction on my very first shed.
A shed, yeah. Let's build a shed, man.
Which would give me a lot more room to put things in. And by day 25, we made 255K after selling an entire field of starfruits.
A male slime is hatched. Yippee.
I also began converting my stone roads to brick roads because we had more dough now. On day 26, I got my next trophy for reaching a 10 heart friendship level with 8 people.
Yay, look at that. The beloved farmer reached a 10 heart friend level with 8 people.
And on day 27, I'd set up the preservative jars that I'd made in the shed. Now, the preserve jars, when you put things in them, when you put fruits or vegetables in them, they give you jelly, which is valuable. So I had a plan that I would start, putting my fruits in here, load this thing up with preserve jars, and then be able to sell the fruits that I put in the preserve jars for much more money. On day 28, the final day of summer, Haley suggested putting on a cakewalk for the town.
Kind of like musical chairs, but everyone wins and gets cake. You'll see. It'll be
I didn't know what this was, but it was supposed to go down tomorrow on fall day 1. And enter fall day 1, year 3, where we have Haley's cakewalk. And you know what? It just shows you her character arc, how much more down to earth she gets, how cool she gets, because she put this cakewalk on so that the kids could afford new school books.
Dang, that's so sweet, Haley.
And she gives all the money that was raised to Penny so that Penny could buy Vincent and Jas new school books. I don't spend a lot of time with these kids. I think it's weird that you got to get to 10 heart levels with the children because a lot of times becoming friends with people involves going into their rooms and giving them gifts in wee hours of the night or the morning. So I just think it's a little strange that you've got to do that with the children. So I'm not focusing on that in this video at all. By day 4 of fall, because I was making so much money and providing for my family so well, I began construction on my next house upgrade. And on day 5, I decided I should really try to get to level 100 of the mines because I still hadn't done it, and I was able to make it all the way to level 80. The next day, I got my next trophy for upgrading the house to its maximum size.
Hey, living large. Holy moly, look at this. Got our bedroom in here. God dang. Move some stuff. Oh, wow. I got a lot of decorating I can do now.
The next few days, I pretty much just harvested my crops, rearranged the farm and the house, went to the mines and got more resources, and waited for my first huge crop to harvest. And then going to bed into day 12, I got the polyculture trophy for shipping 15 of every crop. And I also got a trophy for getting to level 10 in every single skill. I then was notified that a room opened up in the forest.
You sense that a new way is open?
And upon visiting it, it turns out to be a room left by Grandpa. And it's got all sorts of buffs. So you can kind of think about this as like Call of Duty, how once you got to the max level in multiplayer, you would prestige and you'd reset at level 1. I'm still level 10 in all my skills, but I have to essentially do it again to get these special stars to show that I'm, you know, a savant, farmer, miner, adventurer, all these things. And once you get the star in each of the skills, you're able to utilize the buffs that these statues give you. So on day 13, I had my massive pumpkin harvest and sold those for a killing. And come day 16, we have our third Stardew Valley Fair. And this really pissed me off because I try my darndest every time at one of these things, but Pierre actually beat me this year.
How'd I get second?
And Pierre, man, I don't know what the lore about Pierre is with Stardew Valley fans. I don't like this guy. Something about him just makes me want to punch him straight in the face. I don't know why. I just do. The next few days I spent doing my normal chores, everything I needed to do. And come day 20, I learn that I can trade jade, which is a gem, to the vendor in the desert for staircases. It turns out I'll only be able to do this on a Sunday. She only sells the staircases or exchanges the staircases for jade on Sundays. On day 21, I bought another upgrade for the house, but this time it's just a dining room edition.
We have done our first housing renovation.
And on day 23, I visited the skeleton mines yet again. And for the first time in the history of me playing this game thus far, I perished.
Oh, this is a new territory for me. This is the first time I've died.
I died in the mines. And when you die, you lose some of your items in your inventory at random. But you pretty much just wake up in the doctor, whose name is Harvey. You wake up in his hospital.
Oh my gosh.
So I decided to hold it on the mines for a bit, and on day 24, I had a massive, gargantuan cranberry harvest. And that evening, going into day 25, Haley asked if we should have a baby, and I said yes.
Oh, here we go. Yes, we should have a baby.
Now, on day 25, I'd been growing this fall secret fruit that I bought from the trolley lady vendor, and I planted this seed, and it took all fall to grow. And apparently, when you give it to the forest statue, he gives you another star fruit. So that's what I did.
Yay! He gives you star fruit. Spaghetti! It's all coming back to me.
On day 27, we have our next Spirits Eve festival, and I ace the maze yet again. And then shortly after, we make it to our very third winter.
Our third winter.
Which is crazy. And on day 1 of winter, we make it to level 100 of the Skeleton Cave, baby. Come on, let's go. And we meet this interesting character, Mr. Qui, Mr. Kai, Mr. Quai. Mr. Quai is what we're going to call him, and he was there. And he congratulated me and gave me a drink that increased my health by 25.
Let's go.
And on day 3, I was kind of figuring out what the rest of the stuff that I needed to do just for 100% completion. I knew I hadn't hardly explored the Ginger Island at all. I would need to go back there and do that. I knew I still needed some fish that I had to catch. I had recipes that I needed to cook. I had a lot of items I needed to craft. There was just a lot I still needed to do. But fortunately on day 5, Haley told me that she was actually pregnant. We had successfully conceived a child, and it was in her belly, and it was gonna be born at some point in time. On day 6, I realized I didn't really need the milk or the resources from cows anymore, or goats, because frankly, it doesn't get my rocks off. It doesn't sell for enough money. So what I would really need to do is buy more pigs to get more truffles. That's what you want to do. You want to buy more pigs to get more truffle. Infiltrate the dealer, find the supplier. Buy more pig, get more truffle. That's what I do. And on day 8, we had the third Festival of Ice, and I won the competition yet again. I'm a stud. I'm the best fisherman on the planet. And a few days later, on day 11, Haley gave birth to our first son.
Hey, we had our baby. Our first baby, we had a son.
And I named him Pitbull.
Oh, dale.
Dale. Yeah, you know the song, Mr. Worldwide. So because it's winter and I have a lot of time, I decided on day 15 that it was really time to go to Ginger Island and check it out. So that's exactly what I do. And I make it all the way to the volcano and realize that I forgot my watering can, so I can't get across this lava. So I go back to the farm and get 3 tents because I figure I'm gonna be staying in Ginger Island for a while, and if I have these tents, I can stay at Ginger Island and not worry about coming home. And then I go back to Ginger Island and I realize I brought the tents, but I didn't bring my watering can again.
Did I forget my freaking watering can again? Oh my gosh, you idiot.
So, yeah. So then on day 16, I do bring my watering can.
I brought my watering can this time, Foul Lake.
And I'm able to make it to level 3 of these volcano mines.
All right, so we're just gonna plop the tent down and go to sleep.
And fortunately, I was on a hot streak and I was able to make it all the way to level 10 of the volcano.
Oh, sweet. Nice. What do we have here? Hey, nice. I'll take that.
And here you're able to forge and upgrade items and different things, and I really didn't understand how it worked at all. So I will be doing this later. But it had been a while since I went back home, so I headed back to the farm.
All right, let's just head back.
And spent the next couple days just doing my normal deal.
How is my son? Dang, he sleeps a lot, man.
But what happens when you go to Ginger Island is you get this inkling to go back. You get this irking deep within your soul going, I should go back to Ginger Island and see what it's all about. So on day 19, I went back. Now there are these parrots that are scattered all around Ginger Island, and they want you to give them golden walnuts. In exchange for the golden walnuts, they will do different sorts of things like move. Like for instance, on day 20, I give this parrot 10 golden walnuts and he moves this turtle, which allows me to access another part of the island.
What do we have here?
And this part of the island that I discovered is an area where there's a sleep hut, which I can repair for 20 golden walnuts.
Sleep hut?
But what's great about this area is there's a massive farmable area in the front. And what happens in Ginger Island is you can grow any crop all year round. You can grow a spring crop whenever, a summer crop whenever, or a fall crop whenever you want. Every crop works in Ginger Island, which is fantastic. It means starfruit season, baby. It's going to be a starfruit summer all year long in Ginger Island. But upon exploring this area, I met a lady who was guarding her husband's remains.
What?
Which was a little bit weird. And she wants me to find a keepsake of him. So she gave me a picture. And he happened to be a soldier. More on this later. Upon exploring further, I found this dark cave where I had to match the sounds of the crystals after this statue played them and like redo whatever the statue had said. And this was so hard for me. I could not get this down at all. My brain hurt so bad every time I tried it. So I just decided to teleport home. On day 21, I gave Kent, who was the war veteran, the picture that that lady had given me, and she gave me some tomato salt.
Gourmet tomato salt?
Which I had no idea what to do with, so I kept it in my inventory for a very long time. On day 22, I spent a lot of time cleaning up my farm, and I was trying to give Sandy a lot of gifts because I wasn't friends with her, and I realized that in order to get some of the missing recipes that I needed to get to craft, I would have to get to a certain friendship level with these people that I hadn't gotten to a high enough friendship level with yet. So I began really focusing on giving gifts to the folks that I hadn't been really giving gifts to at all. Sandy was one of them. On the night of day 24, I accidentally put a bomb down in my house and blew up a bunch of stuff.
Why do I keep doing that, dude?
This happened to me more than one time, and it's very frustrating. Don't ever, have a bomb in your hands and then try to click anything because you will blow something up, inevitably. But on day 25, I woke up and my baby pit bull, who'd been sleeping in the crib this whole time, was finally awake.
Pitbull!
And I could finally interact with my little guy. So I threw him up in the air. I then walked outside and hadn't learned my lesson from the previous night and accidentally blew up even more stuff at the farm.
Oh my gosh, I did it again!
And today was the 25th day of winter, so that means the Feast of the Winter Star, and I was Pam's Secret Santa, and I got her a beer, and she loved it. And this time Maru was mine, and she gave me a pumpkin pie. Now on day 28, I was really feeling like winter was getting to me.
This is the first time in 100 hours where I've hit a wall.
I still had a ton of money that I would need to make. I mean, a ton. And I really hit my first wall. I think, with the game. I was like, man, I'm making money, I'm doing stuff, but it just was daunting. Winter really gets to you when you're not producing. I can't believe that after, in year 2, I was excited for winter, because winter really starts sucking a lot. But for the first day of spring, I bought 500 rhubarbs that I was looking forward to planting. These are great plants for spring, knowing that on day 13 I would load up on strawberries yet again. And here are my optics for the spring on year 4. At this point, I've made 3.5 million. So I wanted to plant as many crops as I possibly could on my farm. There's this other crop that I discovered called ancient fruits, and I have those growing in the greenhouse. And these things are very valuable because when you put them in a keg and convert them into wine, they sell for a ton of money. So I wanted to make a lot more kegs that I could put into the shed. So I really wanted to focus on making a ton of kegs, harvesting a lot of fruits, and making a bunch of wine and selling it. I pretty much started really focusing on the wine because the wine, of everything that you can make, like in the preserve jars and the truffle oil, the wine seems to be the most lucrative. So I wanted to really focus on making a ton of kegs. I also wanted to buy a cellar for my house so that I could age wines. I still needed to find one more legendary fish that I was missing that I had to catch on a rainy spring day, and it was actually called the legend fish. And I needed to work on cooking every recipe and shipping every item that I needed to ship. I went and got all the buffs that I could from the statues, and I got the iridium scythe.
Nice.
Which can apparently now harvest any crop. I don't have to pick crops anymore. I can use this iridium scythe and it will automatically harvest them, which is fantastic. And I got the fishing one, so now I can catch fish much easier with this new fishing rod.
Whoa, let's go, baby.
It's now spring year 4, day 1. I'm on year 4 now. So I started the year like I do every year. I kissed Haley. I threw Pitbull up in the air.
What's up, Pitbull?
And it's time to go to work, baby. I planted my 500 rhubarb seeds and just waited for those puppies to grow. The next few days, I spent a lot of time and energy on trying to grow my pig truffle empire as well. I took care of my slimes, tried to make more oil machines with the problem with the oil machines is they need a lot of hardwood, and hardwood's not super easy to come by. Slimes become much easier to come by after you make a slime hutch, but hardwood's still hard. But I still wanted to build a pig truffle empire, so I began buying more pigs, all that jazz. And on day 6, I got another trophy for doing 40 quests.
A big help. Oh, nice.
Now, by day 10, I was pretty discouraged waiting for the rhubarbs to pop because they hadn't yet. And I think if you're a seasoned Stardew Valley vet watching this video, one of many things you've probably seen me do that is stupid, obviously, and you probably or have been yelling at your TV, or maybe you should be, is that I don't put any fertilizer down. And I didn't. I up until this point, I just didn't. I don't know why, but there's fertilizer in this game and it grows things faster. And I just didn't do it. I didn't think to do it up to this point. But this is where I began to have my epiphany that I was thinking, you know what? I hate waiting for these freaking crops to grow. Maybe I should get some fertilizer to make them grow faster.
Have to buy fertilizer.
Anyway, so at the beginning of day 10, I have to rebuke Haley because she lets Pitbull just roam around willy-nilly in the kitchen.
You're just gonna let our newborn infant just crawl around in the kitchen, okay?
And I feel like that's dangerous. He could put a fork in an electrical outlet and it could be over. So she needs to do a better job of being a mother, in my opinion. I was discouraged by this a little bit. So because I was so discouraged about the rhubarbs growing so slow, on day 11, I bought a ton of fertilizer, a ton of it, in preparation for the strawberries that I would be buying on day 13 of the festival. And then on day 13, the rhubarbs were finally ready.
Oh my goodness, they're ready. Thank God.
And I was finally able to use my iridium scythe and harvest them. And this thing is awesome. Then at the festival, I bought 600 strawberries, which should be enough. And I let Abigail beat me at the egg hunt again. I started thinking maybe I should let the children win. You know, I'm a grown man with a child now. I don't need to win this egg hunt. So maybe let the kids win. Abigail, that is not in her code. That's not in her DNA. She has to win this egg hunt every time. I don't know why, but she just does. So the next day, I put all the fertilizer down and planted over 500 strawberry seeds. On day 16, I got my 3rd mastery upgrade from my grandpa's cavern. And a few days later, on day 23, I had the bright idea to actually utilize the Ginger Island farm. I realized I've only got one farm going right now. I could have way more crops growing on Ginger Island if I just put some energy into getting that farm going. So I spent $200,000 on starfruit seeds in preparation to bring them to Ginger Island. I also made a ton more kegs so that I'd be able to make even more wine out of the ancient seeds that were growing in the greenhouse. Now, I still needed to catch the legendary fish, the final fish, and it was just going to be difficult because I needed it to be raining, and I had acquired a recipe for a rain totem, so I was able to make it rain, quote unquote, and that's what I did after the 4th flower festival. So that's what I did. And on day 25, I knew that I needed to go catch this freaking fish that was so elusive. And he was incredibly difficult to catch, like easily the hardest fish to catch thus far was this guy. But after trial and tribulation, I finally caught him.
Yes!
On day 26, I set up my farm on Ginger Island with iridium sprinklers this time. These things are goated, and planted my starfruits. A few days later, and it is the first day of summer, year 4. Ending spring, I am at 4.4 million, so I still need to make a fat bag this summer. On day 2, I started selling my ancient wine hulls because they were ready in the kegs, and these were starting to provide me with a lot of money. A few days later, on day 6, I caught a fish that I'd still yet to catch, the lava eel.
Let's go, baby.
And then I spent the next few days on Ginger Island trying to collect as many golden walnuts as I could. I still had yet to build the sleep hut, so I couldn't sleep at Ginger Island yet. On day 11, we had our 4th luau, where I noticed Haley spends a lot of time talking with Alex still.
Dude, why are you always talking to Alec?
And the soup was yet again a miraculous success. In the next few days, I collected a bunch of golden walnuts on Ginger Island and was able to finally build the beach resort.
Voila!
I also caught 2 remaining fish that I needed, and after catching them, I only needed 1 more. And on day 14, I caught the final fish that I needed for the trophy, a scorpion carp, and I got Master Angler. On day 15, I woke up to a letter from Willie who gave me a star drop for catching every single fish.
I got a star drop.
I then began construction on a corner room to the house. I then began construction on a cellar in my house that would allow me to age wine and make it much more valuable. I also bought a furniture catalog for $200K from Robin, so now I can buy furniture straight from the comfort of my home and actually get my house looking relatively respectable. And upon putting it down in my house, I learned that I don't have to buy the furniture, I just get it for free. All the furniture, I get it for free now. The next few days I spent at the mines trying to get more copper, gold, and iridium, and selling star fruits and ancient fruits, and trying to make as much bank as I possibly could. And come day 19, the cellar was finished, so now I could age wines and cheeses. Now apparently there was this quest that I had yet to do. There was a portion of the game that I could unlock that I had yet to unlock, and that was the casino. And it's apparently in this upstairs room in the shop in the Calico Desert, and you have to follow a series of items. You have to get a series of items, and after doing so, you're able to unlock this casino area in the shop. And so after doing that, that's exactly what I did and made it to the casino.
Oh yeah, baby.
And I gambled like an absolute degenerate. I also purchased my final rare crow here, so now I'd be able to craft the deluxe scarecrow.
Yay, I've got the final rare crow.
On day 23 at Ginger Island, I freed a guy from behind a rock who'd been stuck, and his name was Professor Snail. More on him in a bit. And on day 24, I spent $520,000 to the parrot on Ginger Island to collect the rest of the walnuts for me, because I was not fixing to do that crystal sound game again. That thing is brutal, and I hate it. Now, because that parrot had gotten me all the golden walnuts, I now have access into Mr. Kwai's room on Ginger Island. And here you find a lot of very interesting things. You actually get to see your completion percentage in the game, which is fantastic. And it looks like I have a lot more to do. And here's everything I need to do. And a lot of these were just trophies that I would be getting on the PlayStation anyway. So in order to 100% complete the game, some of these are not trophies. So I have to do this 100% completing of these things. And that was building all the obelisks, which are the teleporters, build the golden clock, which is $10 million, complete all the Monster Slayer quests, reach max hearts with every single villager, reach level 10 in every skill, which I've already done, find every star drop, which I have yet to do, cook every recipe recipe, craft every item, catch every single fish, and find every golden walnut. So needless to say, I still had quite a bit that I needed to do. A couple days later, on day 27, I claimed the last of the mastery stars, and we feel Grandpa's hand pat our shoulder.
You feel Grandpa's hand patting your shoulder.
He is so proud of us. He was already proud of us, he's even more proud of us. On day 28, we had our 4th festival of the jellies, bringing in the fall. Now, I didn't realize that I'd have to be max friendship with every villager at this point. I thought I had done everything I needed to do in that regard, so I really spent time focusing on getting those up. And by doing that, I needed to give gifts to the villagers that I'd neglected, which was quite a few of them. Namely, like I talked about earlier, the children, and then just a couple other villagers that I really hadn't been spending any time with. But the summer was good all in all. I made 2.4 million total, which I was pretty happy with. So now I was sitting at a pretty hearty 6.8 mil earned. So on day 1 of fall, I planted my entire farm with pumpkins. So while I was doing one of Mr. Kwai's challenges, I got to level 120 of the skeleton mines and got a trophy for doing so. On day 18, I had enough of Mr. Kwai's purple gems, which is the currency that he gives you for doing special missions, and I was able to purchase the key to the city, which allows me to access every building at any time of day, and this is insanely clutch. On day 22, Haley asked if we wanted to have another baby, which was awesome, and I said yes, of course, duh baby. And I pretty much just speed ran the rest of fall and made a bunch of money. And on day 1 of winter year 4, I was sitting at $8 million earned. On day 2 of winter year 4, I focused more on my Ginger Island farm and built 7 more iridium sprinklers. Shortly after, a couple days later, I got the trophy for having 2 children.
Full house, baby.
And I named my second child Jennifer Lawrence. Well, I tried to name her Jennifer Lawrence, but I was only able to get to Jennifer Law. I then played all the way through winter. I went to the mines a ton, but to be honest, I didn't record a ton of it because a lot of this was just me trying to get to the 10 million mark and doing a lot of stuff that I knew, was just going to take so long to do. So I didn't want to use all that recording space because I've already got hundreds of gigabytes of this game on my computer, but I ended up making it all the way to spring of year 5. And shortly after, Linus, Willie, and I convinced the child that was on Ginger Island, whose name is Leo, to move to Stardew Valley after becoming good enough friends with him. I'm then able to create my very first teleporter, the Mountain Teleporter. And now that I had such good friendship with everybody, I had every recipe that I needed to get from every NPC, and I got Gourmet Chef for cooking every single recipe.
Gourmet Chef, baby.
I then knew I needed to do the Adventure Guild quests that I had yet to do and kill all the monsters, so I really wanted to focus on doing that because it was just something tangible that I knew I could do. So I was able to get to 1,000 slimes killed.
Let's go. That's every slime.
At this point, the only relationships that I was really lacking with not being 10 out of 10 were with Jazz, the little girl, and Leo, one of the little boys, the little boy from the island. I also hadn't gotten all of the artifacts turned into Gunther yet, and I needed to do that. So the first couple days of summer year 5, I spent killing a lot of the monsters that I needed to for the Adventurers Guild. I killed all the Voidwalkers, the crabs, the serpents, the Duggies, the mummies. I was killing everything, man. I had also been spending a lot of time, these whole last few seasons just crafting everything that I could to finish these crafting, recipes that were so elusive and taking forever, but I was trying to craft as many things as I could because I had so many resources at this point. And then something absolutely devastating happened to me. I had almost shipped every single item in the game. I, in fact, had the last item that I needed to ship in the game, which was the ostrich egg, which they're not easy to find at all. You were given one, really, on Ginger Island, but then there are very rare drops in the volcano mines if you somehow lose the ostrich egg that you're given. And you have to ship one of them in order to get, 100% items shipped. So, for whatever reason, I was just piddling around on the island and got murked by one of these magma tiger slime things. And I died again. For the second time in the game, I died on Ginger Island. And you know what happens when you die? You randomly get a couple items in your inventory selected, and then they, trash them. They get taken from you. Well, one of those items taken from me happened to be the ostrich egg, which was devastating.
No, 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 no. I died and lost the ostrich egg.
So I just hadn't shipped it yet, and then it was taken from me. And that was the last item I needed to ship for 100% completed items shipped. Yeah, that was really, really devastating. A massive blow. Fortunately, though, I encouraged myself by finishing the Joja Mart bundle. There was a bundle here on day 22, and when I finished it, the next day it turned into a movie theater.
The movie theater!
And I got a trophy for seeing a movie. On day 25, I finished my museum collection. I turned every artifact into Gunther. This took forever, but I finally was able to do it.
It has been a pleasure and a joy, Mr. Gunther.
A couple days later, I was able to make another obelisk, the island obelisk this time. And now we are on the very first day of fall. And throughout this fall, I just, keep grinding, doing my thing. I eventually get a trophy for reading every single book. Upon visiting the Quai chart, I'm at 69% complete. I have 99% of produce shipped. I've now built every single obelisk. I don't have the golden clock, which costs 10 million. I'm not finished with the Monster Slayer goals, although I'm almost finished. I haven't found all the star drops yet. I have not done every single crafting recipe, so I still had some work to do. And come winter, year 5, I was finally able to beat all the Monster Slayer goals and get Protector of the Valley. And after doing that, I'm now at 79% completion. I then blow through the winter because I was just so tired of winter at this point. So I started going to bed at like 8:30 a.m. I'd wake up at 6, walk outside, check the greenhouse, check my winery, my kegs, and then go to bed at like 9 a.m. Because at this point, I've already got over 160 hours in the game, chopped down to a 2.5, 3-hour long video. But yeah, 160 hours is a lot for a game. It's a long time. So yeah, I'm starting to go crazy a little bit. Because I wanted more ancient fruit wine, I replaced I had a strawberry farm going on Ginger Island. I replaced that with an ancient fruit farm. I also learned online that the raccoons that are in this tree that's close to the farm, they will give you an item that you haven't shipped yet if you keep fulfilling their requests. So as opposed to running through the volcano mines over and over and over again trying to get an ostrich egg, this was my antidote to that. So I continually was fulfilling the raccoon requests. I had a couple more items to craft. One of them was an ostrich incubator.
Once I finish this, he should give me the ostrich incubator,
which you get for finishing all of the stuff for this Professor Snail dude. I unlocked that. Turns out it wasn't the last thing I needed to craft. I did some research online. I was missing a recipe from Linus. I had to do a special order of his. I also don't have a solar panel, which is a special order from Caroline. Thankfully, I was able to do those pretty quickly. And then I was also able to finally get the ostrich egg from turning in a request from the raccoons. They gave me the only item I have not shipped yet, the ostrich egg. And I got the trophy for shipping every item. I then got another trophy for getting the star drop from Gunther.
Oh, okay, it was here. The mystery of the star drop.
That I didn't collect. I had turned every artifact in, but I didn't get the star drop. So once I got that from him, I got the trophy for it. Now, I'm not going for the platinum in this game. I'm playing on the PlayStation. I'm not going for the platinum. I'm just going for 100% completion. There's a couple trophies that I'm going to miss, namely the one that I think a lot of people are it's one of the hardest trophies in the game, but I'm, like I said, already 170 hours into this. The Prairie King trophies, I'm going to do those, but not in this video, but I will do those and make a YouTube short out of them. But yeah, I'm just not going to put that in this video. So I will be getting the platinum, but for now, I'm just going for 100% completion, which actually has you doing more stuff than just the platinum does, because 100% completion has you making sure you get to max friendship with all people, building the golden clock, which is arguably the hardest thing, getting to 10 million. So yeah. Anyway, I spent the rest of the time just getting the recipes that I had yet to do. I was trying to piece together which recipes I was missing. I realized I was missing one from Willie for a quality bobber.
Quality bobber.
And I finally got that, and then got the trophy for crafting every recipe in the game. I slept through most of that winter and made a ton of wine. Come spring, I was able to plant more crops. I hit 9 million. I was at 8 million starting spring. I hit 9 million. And then finally on day 20 of spring year 7, I got to above 10 million.
Back above 10 mil.
In my pocket. And I was able to build the golden clock, finally.
Right here. There she is.
Now entering Mr. Quai's golden walnut room, it still says for some reason I haven't crafted everything, even though I have a trophy for it. So I've obviously crafted every item in the game. And it turns out that this is probably a glitch. I did some research and it looks like it is a glitch. Fortunately, you can buy something called perfection waivers from this gentleman at Ginger Island. And the perfection waivers, you pay him $500,000 and he gives you 1% towards your perfection. So that's actually insanely clutch, because the only reason I was missing 1% was because of a glitch. So I bought the perfection waiver, and then beginning day 23, we get some text on the screen that says, "Deep in my heart, Grandpa's beaming with pride."
You feel in your heart somewhere, somehow, Grandpa's beaming with pride.
And that a rumbling can be heard in the distance. And then shortly thereafter, there's a rock that's cleared on the northern part of town, and we're able to go through that path, make it all the way up to the summit of Stardew Valley, and get our final trophy for 100% completion in this game, and have a beautiful cutscene with Haley. After a kind of end credit scene, we get a message from Grandpa, another one about how proud he is, and I've now 100% completed this incredible game. And if you guys have watched to the very end, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really means the world. We put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and it just means a ton that you guys have watched this far. And I promise that if you enjoy this video, you will absolutely love this one, where we 100% another iconic indie game, the classic Don't Starve.